feel like today is like Pearls Day or something, because do you guys like the pearl necklace and the pearl earrings? I don't know, I think this looks really elegant, but you guys can let me know in the comments down below. Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to tell you some skills that you should have and develop if you're going to be working in the accounting CPA profession, because I don't know if you know, but just passing your CPA exams is not enough to excel in the accounting and finance world. You do have other skills that you will need to learn and develop on the job, but getting your CPA is definitely a good starting point. Definitely gives the employer a really good impression of you, knowing that you were able to go through the exams. So today I'm going to tell you the skills that I have developed and learned on the job. I do have around 5 years of work experience, and these are the things that I really had to learn, and I'm sure you guys will probably have to learn these skills too if you want to work in accounting and finance. So the first thing, and this is a no-brainer, I feel like they tell you this when you're in college, that you're gonna have to develop good Excel skills, and that means mastering pivot tables, VLOOKUPs, which I think is now called XLOOKUPs, also knowing how to do HLOOKUPs, index and match, sum if else. And those Excel functions that I just listed to you, that is like an absolute basic minimum that you need to know and master, because I use those a lot. I think out of the ones that I mentioned, I probably use sum if and sum if else the most in my job. And a lot of times as part of the interview process, companies will give you an assessment to test how good your Excel skills are, because Excel is a very, very important thing to know, especially if you work in accounting, finance. And I think they are implementing Excel into the CPA exams. Don't quote me on that, I'm not sure. But I remember when I was taking the CPA exams, they were just getting started to some Excel knowledge. So you definitely want to perfect your Excel skills. And if you're not good at Excel, you might want to watch some videos. There's a ton of videos on YouTube that basically teach you how to do every single Excel function. And I know you're wondering about macros and VBA. I personally don't use that at my job right now. That's not to say that I won't ever use it, but once in a blue moon there will be something that comes up where I need to know how to use a macro in VBA. So it is a good skill to learn, but personally I wouldn't spend too much time trying to learn the ins and outs of that. I would definitely spend the majority of the time learning the basic Excel skills. The next thing that I have really had to develop and learn on the job are the systems that the company uses. Right now at my job, we are using a system called OneStream. We actually just switched over to OneStream back in September, and we were doing 2 months parallel, because before that we were using Oracle HFM and SmartView, and so we had 2 months parallel for Oracle into OneStream, and now we are completely just using OneStream. But for the past 3 years, I've been using Oracle on my job, and I really perfected Oracle. I had no idea how to use that system when I first started my job, because at my old job I was using CCH engagement mostly because I was working in auditing, but now I am familiar with Oracle and OneStream. And I think those systems are really good to know, because pretty much every company will use similar systems if you're working in the accounting or finance department. I know that another system that companies use is NetSuite. I personally have never used that. And then some companies will also use QuickBooks, but I think most of the larger companies have switched over to NetSuite or Oracle. So I personally have a lot of experience in Oracle, and I have around a few months of experience in OneStream, which OneStream is actually very similar to Oracle. So if you know one, you pretty much can switch over to the other one really easily. At least for me, I was able to switch over easily. And then I know another system is SAP. I only used that at my internship in London when I was in college for a few weeks, so I'm not too familiar with that system, but I think if it's something that you use on a daily basis, you'll probably be accustomed to that pretty quickly. And also at my job right now, I have used Cognos in the past also, which I know that a lot of companies also use. So accounting systems and finance systems is something that you want to familiarize yourself with. I know that it's kind of hard to do if you don't work for a company that uses those systems, because you don't really have access to it. But I think the best way to learn is just to learn on the job. That's not really something that you can perfect beforehand like you can with learning Excel skills. Also, I forgot to mention another system that I feel like is becoming really widely popular, but not every company has implemented it, is Power BI. I do use Power BI at my job right now. I do something called to be hired and payroll analysis every quarter. I have used Power BI to automatically send out emails. So the last few skills that I think you would need as a CPA in the accounting finance profession, but I feel like just in the business world in general, are some soft skills that I think are really important. So the first thing is being business friendly. That is very, very important in the workplace. On my performance review, they actually said that one of my strengths is that I am a very business friendly person. I try to come across as nice as I can. I try to be as helpful as I can because I know over email things can be interpreted differently. But I'm definitely very understanding if one of our agencies has to submit their balance sheet or P&L late. I'm always attentive and willing to help them. I get back to them as quick as I can. I got really, really good feedback from my business friendliness in the workplace. And that's something that you should definitely learn how to do, because a lot of times it's not about what you know, it's about how you come across to other people. And if other people like you, they're probably going to be more likely to promote you. You'll probably get some benefits in the workplace. Whereas if you're just technically really strong, but you're just mean to everyone, that's not going to do well for you because no one's going to like you in that case. The next skill that I think you should develop is have a to-do list, because being really organized is very, very, very important. You're going to get a ton of emails every single day, at least for me, because we have agencies around the world. I wake up to a ton of emails in the morning because when I'm sleeping, they're working, and when I'm working, they're sleeping. And so I like to have different folders in my email where I put different things. I'll also make a to-do list for if I'm having a really busy week, then I'll make a list of everything that I have to do that week and on which day. And once I complete them, I check them off. So this way I don't forget. And I have gotten really good feedback on that too, on being really organized with my files, getting tasks done by the due date. The next skill that I think you should really develop is to review your work before you submit it. This is something that I was not very good at when I first started off my career. I used to just do something that the manager would tell me to do, and then I would just send it off to them and be done with that as soon as possible. And a lot of times the manager will review it and then they'll tell me things that I would have caught if I reviewed my work, and it just doesn't give a good impression to the manager if that happens. So nowadays what I do is, after I finish something, I like to look through everything, make sure the numbers tie, make sure my explanations make sense, and then I like to submit it to my manager, and it just makes the manager happy. It makes you happy. You feel more fulfilled. And this ties with the last thing I want to leave you with, and this isn't really a skill. It's more of a piece of advice, and that is that it's okay to make mistakes, because we're all human. We all make mistakes. And even if we were machines, we would still make mistakes. I know AI is really big right now, and it's kind of taking over a lot of people's jobs and positions.
Really glad that I am still employed and AI has not taken over my position.
But I don't think that humans will ever be completely replaced with AI or robots or anything. And I feel like this might be really cliche to say, but it is okay to make mistakes as long as you learn from your mistakes. So I hope you enjoyed this video and these tips that you will need to learn and develop as you start and further into your professional career. If you are in the process of studying for the CPA exams, I wish you the best of luck. I know that it's a very technical exam. It's very draining. It's very hard. Trust me, I've been through it. And finally, just one more thing I thought of that I want to leave you with is that after you pass the CPA exams, your technical skills become less important than your people skills. So being business friendly, being organized, having people in the workplace like you is going to be more important. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely subscribe, turn on the bell notification, and give this video a thumbs up, and leave me a comment letting me know what is one skill in your professional career that you think is really important to know, or really important to learn, or just really important to embody. All right, you guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you guys next time. Goodbye.